Isaiah, if you remember on November 2nd, can you just speak about your mental state when you were cleaned off the waivers to now your confidence was ever broken to still be playing and contributing with the Giants?
Yeah, on that day, it was definitely a roller coaster. I was just at home, just kind of relaxing and just thinking like, dang, like I just got cut, and hopefully I get brought back onto the active in a couple weeks, and I got to work my way back up, and then I started getting all the FaceTime calls and texts from Dayball and the whole crew and coaching staff. Like I was coming over here, and a couple hours later, I was on a flight and getting the playbook and learning any of the new stuff. And it never really rattled my confidence, though. If anything, I think it probably helped just because the way that Dayball brought me in, like I just knew that he was going to give me an opportunity, and that he wasn't like going to like hand me a job, but he was going to give me an opportunity and let me see what I could do with it. And I think week by week and practice by practice, he continued to do that. And I went out there and worked hard every day and tried to show my best of like, hey, like I want to be here and I want to stay here. And I think it's gone good so far. So I'm just thankful for those guys for just bringing me in.
Isaiah, you've only been teammates with Saquon for a couple of months now. I'm curious what impressed you the most when you got in here and got to know him?
Yeah, I would say just his hard work and just how he practices. A lot of times with superstar players, at least I played with a couple, but from what I've heard with other guys is that, oh, this superstar doesn't practice and they don't work hard and they don't this. But like, I had a real great example in Buffalo with Diggs. Like Diggs was one of the most intense guys at practice, every single practice. And, I think Saquon falls like that same way. I mean, we'll do a little inside zone and he's finishing 60 yards down the field, like in the end zone. And, it sets a good example for young guys like me and, younger guys on the practice squad or rookies and stuff like that of just like, man, like this is how you're supposed to practice. And it doesn't just happen like that in the game. Like he gets these reps and these looks in practice. So when it's in the game, it's natural for him and it's easy. So.
Did you view him as a superstar before you came in? I mean, was that always your impression of him?
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone would view, Saquon as a superstar for sure. I mean, I remember him back in his Penn State days, when he was, going crazy out there playing USC in the Rose Bowl and scoring all those touchdowns. So, I mean, it's definitely cool now to be playing on the same team as him, thinking that at one point in time I was just in college kind of watching him. So
the narrative of the Giants playing with house money, do you pay attention to it, or is it fuel to the fire?
Yeah, I try not to pay too much attention to that. I mean, I know that the narrative is going to be out there all the time, and not a lot of people maybe expected us to be here, but I think the people within the locker room expected us to be here, and I think that the team knew that at the beginning of the season. I wasn't here with them for them, but when I first came in here and I knew and I saw the pieces that were on this team, I just knew like this is a talented roster, this is a talented team. And I feel like each week they've done a good job of catching me up to speed, and they've done a good job of buying into Dayball and how he wants us to practice, how he wants us to play, and that hey, like we take this thing 1 week at a time. Like we could keep proving everybody wrong, but it's a not looking too far ahead mentality, 1 week at a time. Practice, hard work, and just continue just to fight every game.
You had a 100-yard game in the playoffs for the Giants. Have you talked to any of the former receivers here? There's guys like Toomer hang around the building or whatnot. Have you talked to anybody? Have you heard from anybody reach out to you? Anybody tell you I like your game?
Yeah.
Anybody from Giants past reach out to you now that you're
I haven't talked to any receivers, no. I actually got to not talking yet, but I think I'm gonna do like a little bit of talking with is Tiki Barber, which is kind of cool. So he knows a couple people that I know and kind of reached out to me. So it was kind of a surreal moment to have that happen. But not any wideouts, but man, if any of them are watching this, man, hit me up. I'm willing to learn anything. So I'm here.
Is it a pinch yourself kind of moment? Like you were on the practice squad and now you're like a legit number one receiver, having 100-yard games, 5 touchdowns in 6 games for a playoff team?
I would definitely say it's a surreal moment. I mean, I never looked past it, and I knew that I could do this, but just to be sitting there looking back, like you said, of like a couple months ago, I was getting cut from one team, and now I'm playing in the second round of the playoffs. It's just like a kind of like sometimes I get that like overwhelming feeling, just like, man, like I'm so blessed to be here and I'm so thankful. Like, and I just try to remind myself of that every day.
How much have you guys just gained confidence last 2 weeks with the passing game, really picking up? And is that something that kind of makes you guys realize, hey, that first game when they came here, we really struggled against their defense. That's way in the past now because we've just made so many strides since then.
Yeah, I think, it's good to look at that game because, we did struggle that game. And, as you said, also, we have made strides since then. But, it's good to look at the good and the bad. I think to go back there and look at that game and see, what we could have done better. And that, hey, like, if we would have done this or we ran routes how we do now. And, just like the concepts that, it might have turned out different. But, it was a good learning lesson, and I think sometimes you kind of got to get smacked in the mouth like that to kind of have that bitter taste, and so when you guys play next time, that hopefully there's a different result. So I think that we're playing great football right now. I think the coaching staff has done a great job of just putting us in the right position. The players have done a great job of putting in that extra overtime work, just knowing like, hey, this is week by week, like next week isn't promised, so put in all the work this week, and we'll go execute on Saturday and see what happens.